Welcome to another episode of the SydeBoob Podcast. You have
Hello.
had an awesome week, sir.
Thank you.
I know I've said it, in text and in voice message, but
Yeah.
bravo, well done. Obviously, I think you did a fantastic job.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's something. You know what? It's something that's been in the work since probably before YouTube. I've wanted to do a story about Helen Glow because, I remember doing my ancestry. I mean, I touched on this last week as well, so I'll try not to just say the same stuff. But I did my ancestry about 10 years ago, and then there was basically in those days it was harder to do. So a lot of it was like on forums and stuff like that of other blogs basically talking about Helen. So I think a lot of them must have got some of their details from like fiction because the story I got told was close to the first one that I told it, the start of it. Obviously I added a bit more flair to it and stuff like that, but the story I got told was basically her dad was a renowned blacksmith that made a sword and hosted King George. And then her mum died. She got and he got with another woman, and she fell out with the stepmom, and that's what made her want to go to. Well, not just that. The story I got told was she went to America with her brother to sell swords and wares, and that's why she went. In the story I got told, passed down. But in research, I couldn't find anything to suggest that. Just basically, she wanted to leave her stepmom. Like that was the only thing. Like she wanted to go to America for. So yeah, it was quite interesting to see the difference of word of mouth and then what's actually down in historical like context. You know what I mean?
So that stuff, did you found historical evidence of the the naughty books and stuff that you were talking about? Like that's all historically verified.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. I mean, it pretty much is verified through birth records and stuff like that. The only thing that we don't know about Helen Glow is what the end of her life, basically when the Sultan's son took power. We don't know how her life ended after that. We know how her children's ended, but not hers. So, it's all historically verified. I don't know what else to expand on that. But,
that's just interesting. I mean, it's interesting because it's a case where the fiction that you made is it's good.
Yeah.
But like the truth is also very good. So it's like, which one is better than the other?
That's it. That's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a story that I could tell to my nieces that would make them feel a bit empowered, and then be like, you're actually descended from this woman. Like this is your great granddad's like sister. So, you guys have the capability of doing special stuff.
Legacy alive and whatnot. That's awesome. I just pinned the link to your channel there in the comments. So if anybody comes in and sees that, subscribe. I've subscribed with both of my channels. So let's get that channel up and going because it's really good stuff. And if we could, I would just show the whole thing. But
I know, yeah.
We have other stuff.
But I've already got like 9 likes on it, which has surprised me. Because considering I made the channel literally as I was uploading the video, so the channel was literally created like 5 minutes before the video was uploaded.
Oh yeah.
So I find that intriguing, like who's found it, you know what I mean? Because I've shared it to you, and I shared it to my other friend that I said I've told you he's writing a book. So we kind of share projects with each other. So I've shared it to him, and I showed my mum and dad, and I know they haven't got YouTube accounts, so I know they wouldn't have had the ability to like it, if that makes sense. So I'm wondering, who are these likes? Like, I know I liked it on one account and the actual account, and I know you might have liked it twice. So I've got 4 worked out. So now I'm trying to work out these other 5.
Yeah, I did. I definitely threw up a big like on that thing. Right there, subscribed. I think honestly the way you did it, the way you set it up, very good. Just the flow of it, and I think we've kind of spoke about how you wanted the flow to go. was like that Guy Ritchie type style, but like to me, and this is gonna sound weird, it sounded like it was almost like a song, like if that makes sense. The way you, the cadence, the way you broke it up, the way you were like kind of just the way you spoke about it, it sounded like a song.
That is kind of how I structured it. Is I made sure that the music. So I rate it all, and then I listened to. Basically, I asked AI to suggest music that wouldn't be copyrighted on YouTube, and then I listened to each track, and then I spoke out the part that was supposed to match that track, and then I thought, well, if I say it with this cadence and this tone, and it'll go this quick or that quick, and then I'd always try and cut it so it'll end on a drop, or every time I said Helen Globe, a beat will drop, if that makes sense. So little things like that I wanted to try and incorporate from the music side, because I think that structure, I don't know if it's applied much on YouTube videos, but I think it kind of came across quite well, that it was quite structured, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I definitely, that's one of the things I picked up, is like you made this like a song, you know, and I can tell like that musical influence in your life, like it was very much, I can't explain it other than it was like orchestral in a way, where like it would build up and then like come and like, I don't know, I thought it was very well done.
Like not to say I'm on Shakespeare's level, but it's kind of like if you see the old plays that people go and watch, and there'd be an orchestra there that react to certain words and certain parts of the script. It's kind of that's kind of the style I was going for with the and what's ironic is that changed within last week, and then me actually doing it all this week, that actually changed. So I didn't even speak on that last week.
So do you think you because you lost some of that and it's a tragedy, you lost a lot of your audio or whatever, you think because you lost the audio, it gave you the opportunity to go back, redo it, and
it really did
everything?
Yeah, it really did. Instead of trying to just record the half that I lost, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to re-record it all so it has the same kind of cadence and stuff like that. And then that, ironically, it's weird how you notice, because that's when I started thinking, do you know what, I want to play with the music a bit more, and I want the music to be more relevant to the story, if that makes sense. So not relevant, but I want it to flow with it. So you could cut each part out and it'll have like it's a unique bit of music attached to it. But then there's also running themes throughout. Like, so every time, spoiler alert, but every time she shat herself, like there was a certain song that played, you know, so little things like that.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was probably one of the best moments was, you know, whenever you said, oh, she shat herself again. And you're like, no, just go, joking. Like,
yeah,
that was a good
one. I got
yeah.
to the third bit and I thought, when King George was confronting her, and I thought, it would be so funny if I just make her shit herself for a third time. And I thought, is that just too silly? But then I thought, well, that's the point of it.
That's literally the point, yeah. And I see we have quite a few people in here. I just want to say this is Muddy Wolf. He just made a new documentary about one of his ancestors. And the pinned comment is the new YouTube channel for that. Go watch it. Go like it. Go share it. Like, honestly, it's really, really well done. Looking forward to future projects. There's quite a few different things that I don't know if you want to keep them under wraps for now or whatever that you have in the works. But definitely, guys, go check that out after you watch this podcast, of course.
Yeah, I'll tell you one, because I don't want people to think that like my channel is going to be just like that every video. So the next thing I'm working on is Tom Segura, the comedian. I'm doing something about him. Just there's a few things that I've noticed about him, and YouTube and other people are kind of noticing about him. So I wouldn't mind adding to this kind of what's the word for it? I wouldn't mind adding to this ongoing conversation about Tom Segura. I do think I am going to jump into that side of YouTube.
Jump in and join the bandwagon, as it were.
Yeah, because personally, I watch loads of stuff about the Rogan sphere. I don't watch their stuff, but I watch people commentating on what they're doing, like, because they're all kind of like, they're all in their own world, aren't they? They're all trying to create their own Hollywood in Texas, and they all love freedom of speech, but then can't stand if someone says something against them. So there's a lot to look at with that whole Rogan verse, and like kind of like the nepotism that's involved in it and stuff like that. So
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's something I'm going to get into. I'm going to start with a Tom Segura one and then keep adding to it. I want to try and be unique though, because there is a lot of people like reacting to this kind of stuff. So I want to try and be unique with it. And at some points, I almost want to try and be more funny than they are, if that makes sense.
Beat them at their own game, for sure. Yeah.
Because these are supposed to be comedians, but they're barely funny. Like, literally, they just say things that the crowd agrees with. Like, so that's what generates a laugh. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it attacks a group that they know the crowd don't like. So it's like, I'm going to laugh because that makes them feel bad. Like, no one's laughing because it's funny. Like, that's the last thing everyone's laughing at in the crowd. So I find that really intriguing, like where comedy's at. So I'm also doing a big long piece on just comedy in general as well. So yeah, sports comedy and like stuff like Helen Globe history and stuff like that. You know, I'm just gonna, whatever's intriguing me at the time, that's what I'm gonna focus on.
That's awesome. Do you feel like those are going to be like regular uploads, or just kind of when you get the inspiration? Do you think, like, where's your mind frame as far as creating this new channel? Is that going to be something like, this is where your commitment is right now, something that you're trying to go forward?
I'm going to try and treat it like a job, to be honest. Whereas like that might not mean there's going to be something coming out once a week even, because I want to put a lot of detail into it. So, and that's what I mean about treating it like a job. So instead of, last time I'd rush things because I'd be like, I want to get it out once a week or whatever. Whereas now it's like, I'm going to work on something every day until it's close to perfect, and then I'll put it out. So I want to get to a point where I can have a schedule, but I don't want that to affect like the creativity side of things as well.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. I think that was kind of the problem with when we started this podcast, was like, gotta have something. Yeah. And it was like, we were trying to force it a little bit too much. Whereas I think once we had a conversation, we stepped back a little bit. I don't feel like it has suffered at all.
No, that's it. I think as well, we'll get to a point where we might need to do stuff like that, because we might be reliant on this doing numbers for our money, or you know what I mean, to pay the bills. When it gets to that point, then it'll be worth doing it.
Sure.
And I'm not saying it's not worth doing it now, because sometimes you want to build up and get there. But right now, because we both work and we both have families and stuff like that, like, last thing we want to do is get to a point where this is like a chore. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Me personally, I want it to be fun, like something I look forward to.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think as like a relief from whatever happens to be going on in your life at the moment, like, it could be just a good outlet for us to just come hang out and talk stuff about whatever UFC fight or whatever happens to be on that weekend.
That's it. Not really related to our personal lives, you know, and our personal whatever's going on, you know. So, but also that leads me on to ask you, do you want to talk about the project you're working on?
I mean, I can talk about it a little bit. I've talked about it in passing, but yeah, I'm working on a novel. I've taken a lot of inspiration from Bukowski. I don't really want to get into like what the details are, but it's been something I've been working on for a little while, as far as formulating ideas and this character, this very unique character that I'm working on.
Yeah. And I'd like to give you a metaphor of
sure.
what, I don't know if metaphor is the right thing, the right phrase that I'm trying to use, but from what I read, I got the vibe of, have you ever seen, it's an old Hitchcock film where a guy, he has like a broken leg or something, and he's just sat in an apartment building looking out of his window. Like, I know that's very vague, but have you ever seen that film?
No, man, maybe, you know.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, it's such a vague description, but I felt like that guy reading what you sent me, like I was observing these people that I don't know anything about, and I'm just now learning about them through observing them through a window. And like, I don't know, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense of like,
Sure.
you know, I mean that in a real good sense of like, if you ever watch that movie I'm talking about, the Hitchcock one,
It's called Rear Window.
Yeah, that is it. Rear Window is great thriller. If you love psychological thrillers, I think it'll still be watchable to this day because like it's just psychological. But it reminded me of that. Like I felt like I was him, like watching these characters like from the window and then adding my own context to it in my head, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
I think the thing with the character, I want him to be relatable in that he's a real person, but like I don't want him to be a hero. Does that make sense? Like I don't want you to like feel like you're cheering for him. I don't want you to feel like this character is somebody you want to succeed even. You're just intrigued as hell by him. And then of course I want it to be funny.
Yeah.
Right? Like that the whole point of it is to be funny and to be kind of silly, right? Because I mean, you've read it. It doesn't take anything seriously. Like there's literally nothing to take seriously in that book.
Yeah.
I just want you to kind of lose yourself, and then like at the end of it, whenever you're done, you're like, that was a pretty good book. I don't know what the fuck it was about, but it was a good book, you know?
Yeah, you know what though? Sometimes they're the best things. Like recently, I watched a film, and the whole film it was based in your neck of the woods. Actually, it was based in Florida, but right near Disney World. So obviously, I'm guessing that's Orlando.
Yeah, and that's close to me.
Yes, like it was based on the story. It was like based on a 6-year-old girl, like 6 to 8 years old. She was this little girl, and her mum was like an OnlyFans like hooker, and like it was just following this little girl, just getting through her life from her perspective, and like you got until towards the end where you started realizing that her mum's an OnlyFans girl and stuff like that. So it took a little while, and like when you finished watching this film, you were like, what was the point? Like, what was? But it was so good, and it kept you, like, it just kept you there. And like your that book is similar to that. To be honest, it's like I don't know what style I can describe it as, but it is a style that I've seen a lot before in movies and stuff, and it's really enjoyable, to be honest, mate. Like, and I really mean that.
I appreciate that. Like, I want it to be something that you can just pick up and then just go. Like, I mean, the way I have it structured is like the chapters are super short, but they're like snippets, like insights into this guy's life, right? They're not meant to be like, you're not deep diving into who he is or whatever. You're just getting this essence of like, this is what happened to him, and like, what does it all mean, kind of a thing.
And he's like really relatable as well. Like that's what I found was really good, was just how relatable he is. Like I don't know if you've put a lot of yourself into the character.
Yeah, I said he
felt really real. You know what I mean?
He's kind of a mixture between myself, my brother, and one of my good buddies. Just kind of all rolled up into one.
You can see that from the character. Like you can tell there's some real people within what he's based off. Because I mean, I sound like I'm just trying to big you up, but honestly, like I was listening to it last night because I had it on read out loud in bed, and then I got up to about 5, and then I was like, I'm enjoying it, so I want to do it in my own voice. So then I started reading from like 5, and then I started being tired. It shows you how quickly I get tired reading, because I got from 5 to 10, and then I was like, oh, I need to sleep. But like that's one thing I would recommend, is don't get the computer to read it out loud. Like, read it yourself.
No, I would say if you're gonna read it, either read it in my voice, because I'm the one writing it, or like think, Florida American kind of person, because that's where the book is based. Obviously, it's what I have the most knowledge of. So just think about that. And I think you get the cadence.
I had like a Sin City vibe to it as well. Like not like it was dark like Sin City, but kind of like when it's on, I think it's I think it's Bruce Willis's character. It kind of reminded me of that guy a bit, like just the dryness and like just I've got a goal to achieve, and that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you picked up on that. Like that's kind of as the story goes on, like he's so focused on this goal, and then trying to navigate how to get to the end goal, and in the end it changes. So yeah, I don't want to give it away too much, but I am working on it, and now that I've gotten that I showed it to Alicia, she loved it, and I showed it to you, obviously, and you enjoyed it, but getting her feedback, I added a lot of stuff to it, and getting your feedback, I'm going to go and kind of gives you that gust of inspiration.
Yeah.
Whenever I first showed it to her, I wrote so much more, and then just because I had that validation that it's just not me that thinks this is a pretty intriguing story. I got the pat on the back.
That's why I held off sending you my Helen Globe scripts, because I was like, I'm going to, but then I thought, I've completed it now, and I thought if I get any feedback, I'm gonna just want to change everything. So I thought, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just show him the video.
Yep, it's done. Here you go.
Yeah, and I thought if he says it's like not good or whatever, then I can just be like, I'll just redo the whole bloody video. But I thought I want to at least get to a point where I'm starting the visuals and stuff before like I change everything, because I didn't even show anyone the scripts or anything so. Like I was telling my mum about it as I was creating it, because it's my mum's ancestor, so I was telling her about it, and we've always said there needs to be a movie about Helena Globe, so she was intrigued about it, and like she really liked it. Like she was the first person to show, so I thought if she liked it, then everyone else can have a look, kind of thing.
No, yeah, I'm happy for you. I think again, the views on it are outperforming your channel, so that's good. People are picking it up. It has more likes than subscribers, so that's good. People who come across it are liking it. So, I mean, you did a great job. So, keep it up, man.
Yeah, and if you don't like YouTube, it's on Rumble as well.
Did you put it on Rumble?
Yeah, I put it on Rumble and TikTok. So,
where'd you put it on Rumble? On your own Muddy Wolf channel?
Yeah, I think it's Muddy Wolf. I think what it's called on here. But yeah, it's weird, Rumble. Like I uploaded it about 4 times and it never shown up.
It takes a little bit, yeah. Where are you?
I know. I think I'm buried somewhere. But maybe type in the.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I think the title of the video is.
My answer. Here it is, man. 21 views on Rumble.
Oh, 21. That's all right.
21. Let me go ahead and throw another like on there. That's number 2. Let me follow Mr. Muddy Wolf, first follower.
I know, yeah, that one. It's not even. That's what's surprising. It's got 21 views, and I've not even got 1 follower. And it's same with TikTok. I made a new TikTok, and I don't think I've got it on this phone, but it ended up with like quite a lot of views on TikTok, to be fair. But with TikTok, that could just be someone flicking past it. So
somebody's eyeball saw it.
Yeah,
that's the way I feel. I mean, like somebody saw it, and 21, 21 people got to see something that I created.
Yeah,
like that's cool.
I look at
even if they didn't like it, they still had to see it.
Yeah, that's why I haven't tried to like keep it just on YouTube, because logically you make more money just keeping it on the one thing and try and get everyone to watch it on the one thing. But the way I look at it is I just want as many people to see it as possible, and then hopefully that will bring eyes back. You know what I mean?
Yep, I completely understand. I think we had a conversation about that. Is doing our projects, our independent projects, but then always circling back. Like you did a nice little shout out to the podcast at the end there, so I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna repin this one. So that's the Rumble link. Anybody wants to watch it on Rumble, that's the Rumble link for your podcast or your
the Rumble version. It's like more right wing, so I'm a bit more racist towards the Arabs and stuff in the Rumble one. Right. Okay.
he says America like 20 times. So
yeah, I was thinking that America does come up. I was going to say, does America even come up once in the story? But yeah, it does through King George.
Yeah,
and like that's where she wants to go. But that's what I was thinking. Like, is there any other apart from it being a destination? Does it come up? But yeah, King George keeps you relevant.
Yep. Lost America. Yep.
Yeah. Imagine being that guy.
Yeah, imagine being that guy.
You know, when I was looking him up, right? I have a theory about King George.
What's that?
He had lead poisoning.
Because he was crazy. He was.
Yeah, because all the craziness that was described, it just fits in with lead poisoning, and like it was very common in those days to drink from like lead tankards and stuff.
But I don't know when it came about, but like the lead face paint and then like for covering up leprosy, they would put on face paint with lead in it to cover up their leprosy spots.
Then they go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the leprosy would send you crazy, and then the thingy would send you even more crazy.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Where the vampire myth come from was lead poisoning.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, the withdrawal and then eyes sunken in, and the gums receding and all that good stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah, and while we're on this theme, the Mad Hatter. That's what, because hatters used a lot of lead, so that's why he was mad. Because
was it lead? Because I'm not trying to discredit. I remember hearing something about like in leather making there was this chemical. I don't know if it was lead or not, but whatever the chemical was in like leather making is what like drove him crazy. If it's lead, that makes sense.
Yeah, it could be lead or something else, but yeah, that's what I heard anyway. I'm not, I'm not like anything like this. I'm not saying it with conviction, you know what I mean? So
no, I mean you could be 100% right. I know for a fact that hatters, people who made hats and did leather goods and stuff like that, like oftentimes would go loopy because of whatever, and it could very well be.
Yeah, I heard it was lead, but it could be something else.
It makes sense.
I've always found that intriguing. I don't know where I got but for some reason I got a fascination with lead poisoning. It was like years ago, and like I've just always been a bit obsessed with it. Like I don't know why, it's just such a strange thing. But yeah, like there's a lot of stories throughout history like that you could probably explain with lead poisoning. If that, like even like Salem witch trial, look, weird things like that where there's a mass community. It's like, were they drinking out of some metal bowls or something?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I'm sure somebody in the historical record will say no, this is the reason why, but
yeah,
we're having some fun. We're speculating. Who cares? Leave us alone.
How far? Where's Salem, by the way? Is that near or far?
No, it's far. That'd be Massachusetts. That's probably thousands of miles away, 1,500 miles away, something like that.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go, but then I'm like, what am I going for? Like, really,
it's just a place.
Yeah, it's like same with Auschwitz, right? My mum always wants to go Auschwitz, and I'm like, don't. Like, I really doesn't appeal to me. Same with like Anne Frank's house in Amsterdam. It's like, why do I want to go somewhere where I know 100% a tragic thing happened?
Like, I mean, I would
maybe to pay respects, but
personally, I would like to go just because I mean, my family was Jewish, so like I'd like kind of that. It's a weird, morbid connection type thing, but also being a historian, just going there and kind of experiencing it, I think would be interesting, fascinating.
A lot of people talk about how it feels. That's the one thing I do that does intrigue me is like feeling that feeling of knowing that you're in a place where that has happened,
Yeah, I think it's got to feel heavy, right?
Yeah.
That would be. I think that would be the thing that kind of dissuades me is that. Heaviness, I wouldn't want it to like haunt over me, if that makes sense.
That's it, yeah. Because then I'm thinking how many people could fit into it, and then how many other things like this did you have, and then it's just mad, in it. Like crazy to think that could have happened like at any time, let alone
it happened 80 years recently. Ago.
Yeah,
like that's
like there's still people alive that were around, so it's in the grand scheme, it's like yesterday.
It's not that far ago. That's the crazy part.
I know, and like we're all getting wound up like that again, aren't we? Like when you think about it and you look at what everyone's getting annoyed about and who's fighting who at the moment, it's similar stuff. So it's quite scary that, let's just hope there's not like a really charismatic world leader out there that wants to do something crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to get too heavy into it on this podcast, but it's wild.
Yeah,
like it's It's unfortunate, it's disgusting, and it's wild. I don't want to go too much further into that.
Oh, understandable. I don't even know how we got there, but I think I was talking about going Salem, and then
Yeah.
so yeah. I was just thinking of like tragic places that people go, you know what I mean, and like, but yeah, I've never understood that though, of like wanting to go to a very tragic, like people go to like the battlefields and stuff, and that doesn't appeal to me much. It's like, again, lead. So another lead related fact I've got is like, we use the poppy as a remembrance because them red poppies, they only grow with a lot of lead, like in the soil. So if you see a lot of red poppies in the ground, it's likely that a lot of blood has been shed on that ground, so i.e. a battle. So that's why we use the red poppy. And like, yeah, so if you go to a lot of battlegrounds, there'll be like, you know, just red poppies all over, like, because of the lead in the soil.
All the blood and probably the bullets as well, right? You would think.
Yeah,
the muskets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Didn't know that. I mean, I knew about the poppies. I didn't know that they grew in soil that was heavily leaded. That's crazy.
Yeah, the ones that, I don't know if America use it, but we use it as like a remembrance sign, a red poppy.
Yeah, we don't use it here, but
yeah,
I know, I'm pretty sure Canada does as well.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, with them being in the old Republic, or whatever you want to call it, the old Commonwealth. Not Republic, that's what I want us to be.
Yeah, we kind of got sidetracked there, but
yeah, we did.
It's fine, you know, everything in context here. One of the things I want to talk to you about is, you were talking to me last week about a MMA prospect who had a fight this past weekend.
Lewis McGrillen.
Yes.
This guy is good, you know. Like, he's from my neck of the woods, from Manchester. And he's already lost. I've already seen him lose. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, he's this undefeated guy. His style of fighting is so, like, reckless. Not reckless, but... Because I don't think he'd like it if I said that. And I don't think it necessarily is very reckless. So it's a bit unfair. But, you know, he likes to bob and weave and get in close. And sometimes you get yourself hurt doing that. But he's very exciting. And he's got, like, a... He goes around calling people NPCs and stuff. He's very, like, you know, connected with the young generation, like their style of promoting themselves, I suppose. So I think he'll be big. And also PFL news as well. Dakota, watching Dakota, she's been training with Kayla for her upcoming fight. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, so expect Kayla to be much better with her kicks. Yeah, there he is. Little madman with a mullet.
No, yeah. I caught some of it here, a little bit more than what's shown here, but yeah, he seems like a tough little guy. I mean, I don't know anything about him. I just saw the one fight, so I know it was a very back and forth fight. They dropped each other like 10 times in the fight.
All of his fights are like that. That's why I like him, because all of his fights are pretty much life and death like that. And
yeah,
like, you know what's mad though? I discovered him on TikTok. So I was on TikTok just browsing, and I saw this ginger kid just going around calling people NPCs, and I was like, who's this guy? Kind of thing. Yeah, I was like, who does he think he is, like, to be that brave, you know? Like, because he was doing it in the city centre. So I looked at his thing, and then I realised, oh, he's a cage fighter. I was like, of course he's that brave, you know? and then all of a sudden he gets signed by PFL. So I'm one of the few that have actually been watching him since before PFL as well. Like, I don't know what he was in, maybe Cage Warriors or something. But yeah, such an exciting, like, fighter. Like, I think he's gonna go far.
Yeah, it was a fun little highlight I saw. Like I said, they dropped each other 10 times, like, back and forth, and it was just wild. Like,
yeah, that's it.
A mad throw as many punches to the face as you possibly can.
Yeah, he's very good at doing that in every fight. Like, he's very good at bringing that out of the other guy. You know what I mean? Because usually, like, a guy like that, you think, yeah, maybe try and draw him in, leave him with a couple, get out of range, you know, knacker him out, let him keep trying to march me down and throw big shots. But all of his opponents seem to be like, "Oh, is this what we're doing?" Okay.
Well, we're doing this now. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because it's all Europeans he's fighting. I don't know who he's fighting, like, but maybe it's like more European style. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I've noticed anyway. Just constantly scrapping.
Did you catch any of the other PFL stuff that was happening, or is that the kind of?
Nah. To be honest, I didn't even know Lewis was fighting. Like, PFL need to do better with the promoting because I didn't even know Lewis was fighting. Like, it's similar with the UFC though. It's like, who else was it? I didn't know was fighting. There was someone else recently. I didn't know they were fighting in the UFC, and it was them wearing it. Like, it was them posting it, and I thought, how is the UFC not doing it for him? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was similar, like, because I've not been on TikTok, I've not seen Lewis, so I've not seen him announcing his fight, so I've missed it. Whereas, like, you know, if PFL just did a little advertisement, I would have saw it.
You probably would have caught it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So, speaking of fighting, though, did you watch the UFC at all this past weekend? Did you watch the fight night?
I did. Yeah, I did. I watched Moicano and BSD. That was a fun fight.
It was a fun fight that thoroughly pissed me off.
yeah, the ending was annoying. Don't get me wrong. But,
I think
it was inevitable anyway. I think I think he wasn't going to win anyway.
I mean, sure, but he came back and he won the second round on the judges' scorecards. So
yeah,
he was still in the fight.
I don't think he was though. I think Moicano was just taking a round off.
Be that as it may, who says Moicano would have been able to keep going? He broke his shoulder, his clavicle.
Yeah, true. But
so
I don't know.
I had a problem with it, obviously.
Yeah.
But so here's my problem, and I want to talk to you about it and get your opinion, because I mean, I think we're going to share an opinion on this, but I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Bisping has one eye.
Yeah.
He won a title with one eye.
Yep.
He fought GSP with one eye. Right?
Yeah. It's not like he got knocked out in a second either. You know what I mean?
Right. He I'm pretty sure he fought Anderson Silva with one eye.
He won the title with one. Like, he became the world champion.
Right. So we have a Russian prospect, Magomedov, has one eye.
Yeah, he's quality as well.
Yeah, he's very good. So these guys get licensed, they fight, and they win with one eye. But this fight is stopped because he can't see out of one eye.
Yeah, it's weird.
And he's like, no, I want to keep fighting. Like, he's not out of the fight.
You know what, though?
He's beat up, but he's not out of the fight.
To play devil's advocate, though, with his one, it looked like he possibly broke both orbitals. So I don't know if it was more of a medical thing of this guy's face could just be totally collapsed by the end of this. You know, just to play devil's advocate. I don't think it could have stopped. But, yeah, in my mind, I'm thinking it can't be for sight. It just can't be. Because
that's what they said.
I know, yeah. But, like, the examples you give with the ginger Russian dude and Bisping, like, it's Justin Gaethje fought a guy with one eye. Did you know that?
No.
Justin Gaethje has fought a man that had one arm. He had an arm amputated, and he was able to fight. And Justin Gaethje he was a good fighter. He was a champion of a regional scene. Justin Gaethje beat him, but so I get it. That's regional, so a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you're willing to fight with one arm, you should let him
like that was my thing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And if they were going to stop the fight because he couldn't see out of his eye, they should have stopped it after the first.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's when he got absolutely dominated.
And that's when it makes more sense to stop it. Because
stop it after the first.
It's stopped now. So let's just not continue it. You know what I mean?
You lost 10-8. Like, that was a very clearly you got dominated. But then you let him fight with one more round, which he wins, and then you stop the fight. That's the problem I have, and I think that's the annoyance. It
gives a lot of people that hope of, like, not hope, but like that thing of, well, he won the round, so he clearly wasn't that hindered by it. You know what I mean?
And that's me. I fall into that camp.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I think he would have lost, but for all we know, he could have just knocked Moicano out in a couple of seconds, you know. So
that, or he could. I mean, imagine he got Moicano to the ground and threw him in an arm triangle. That clavicle's broken.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? That bone pops out of his, through his skin or something.
Even Moicano tries doing something like to him on the ground and pops it out further.
Yeah,
but apparently Moicano knew about this before the fight.
Yeah.
He went into the fight with this. So
with it injured, but I mean, if they see a broken bone, they're supposed to call the fight.
Oh yeah, they are.
So, like, it's just like
so strange.
Yeah, it's like, can we make the rules like 100% clear? Like, can we just make them clear?
Because it's like the whole broken bone thing, right? No fighter has not broken the knuckles. No fighter has not broken the nose. Like, even me when I was doing it as a kid, like, my knuckles now are all mashed up and my nose is all broken. Like, just from sparring alone, like, not even fighting. So, like, do we get to that point where it's like, oh, his nose is broke, he can't breathe out of his nose?
Shut it down,
Yeah. Oh, his knuckles are broke. Like, to me, that doesn't hinder no one. Like, you're still going to hit them. It just hurts every time you do it. So, it's so weird. Like, it's like, do you know what a good example of this is that wouldn't have made sense? The John Jones, Chael Sonnen one, where, yeah, and they said, oh, if that round, if it would have continued, Chael might have won because of John breaking his toe. But it's like, no, John would have put that toe through his eye if you gave him.
He would have kicked him. Yeah, right. He would have put the broken part of that bone through his ear hole or something. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. So, do you know what? As well, while we're on this, is it Brendan Allen? I knew he was going to lose before the fight even started, mate.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Because he was making excuses straight away. He was like, "Oh, the French have drug tested me, and they're not drug testing the Frenchies." And he was like, "Ask Moicano, they done the same to him." So everyone was asking Moicano, like MMA Guru entered Moicano, so he's actually personally speaks to him. He was trying to get Moicano to say it. Moicano didn't want to give no excuses before the fight. So even though it did happen, like I don't know if it happened with the Frenchies or not, but all the foreign fighters got drug tested straight after making weight. The fact that no one else made that excuse, Brian Battle wasn't talking about it. The only one talking about it was the one that lost. So
right, making the excuse. It has a built-in excuse.
I just knew it when I saw him with his little long hair and his tattoos. Like, oh, the French, they're cheating and all this. I thought, oh, this guy's losing. Here's a fucking loser if I ever saw one.
It was funny, the Dracus Duplessis, where after Brendan Allen.
Oh yeah, mate, this guy has got a memory like, you know what? I think it was Genghis Khan. Yeah, he used to kill a donkey on purpose and leave its mum alive because the mum would always return to its grave, so he could remember like where villages were and stuff like that. Dricus is like that donkey's mum. He does not forget, and he comes back every time. Like, he comes back to the original scene every time. Like, the guy is ruthless.
No, he's funny too. Let me pull this up here.
The amount of people, that have seen him, like, just tweet that said something minor about him in a fight build-up or something. Like, the guy has a sick memory for this stuff.
He says, "Tough luck, Brendan Allen. Just kidding, you suck, loser." And then Brendan Allen had the audacity to respond. Says the one ducking me since getting in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. The one thing I know, drinkers don't duck no one, right? I might not, whether you like him or not, or whether you think he's a good fighter or not, he's for Robert Whittaker, he's for Israel Adesanya, he's for Sean Strickland, all the three champions of his division, like all the three previous champs of his division, and he's been willing to fight all three. So don't tell me like
he's ducking.
Especially when you're complaining about drug tests.
I thought it was funny because he's like, how can you say I'm ducking you? You haven't ever made it to the top 5.
I know, yeah. He's good, isn't he, Dricus, with his trash talk?
It's funny.
He's surprisingly good. Like, it's not like Chael or like, very like creative with it, but he's very cutting with it. Like, Dricus is what Sean Strickland thinks he is. Like, that's what I think. Like Drickus, the way how Sean Strickland puts himself out there, that is who Drickus actually is. Like, and Sean Strickland's really the guy just ranting about his girlfriend on Facebook.
Oh, did you see the thing he wrote recently? How he beats his girlfriend up during his sleep?
Yeah, in his night terrors. Yeah, I replied to it because I get night terrors. I get what he means by that, though. I do. I just think he's not articulated it well. Like, he's just articulated it like a Facebook post, hasn't he? But I do get what he means by that. Like, it is a... Like, sometimes when you have night terrors, sometimes you're the bad guy. Like, you're the nightmare. You know what I mean? You're doing the bad stuff. And, like, that's the scary part of the dream. And so I do get what he was trying to convey, but he just said it in such, like, a dad way.
Just such a Sean way there.
Yeah, where like, if they ever split up, she's got, like...
Yeah, I saw some people were saying that, like, man, you're just giving her reasons to sue you and get a lot of money after you guys break up.
But that's what freaks me out, is how often he talks about hiding guns around his house. Because he talks about hiding guns all around his house. He talks about how he sleepwalks and how he also has night terrors. Like, it's not going to end well. Like, it's really not going to end well.
Yeah, it's. I wonder how much of it is real and how much of it is embellished.
You know, I think he plays on a lot of it. I do. Like, I think he exaggerates a lot, but I do think there's a lot of realism to it, if that makes sense. Like, if you see, like, where he's come from and stuff like that. Are you still there? Don't know what's happened there. Ah, there we go. But yeah, we're just having technical difficulties at the moment.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah,
that was weird. You know what it was? It was after you were talking about Sean Strickland on Facebook.
Exactly. That Zucker lizard. I don't know.
What the fuck just happened? That's wild.
I know, yeah. That was very weird. But you know what? Talking about Twitter, one of my Twitter followers actually got knocked out on that UFC card.
Oh yeah.
Would you like? Who do you think follows me that was fighting on that card?
Oh my god, I have no idea. I don't know.
Matt,
please.
You know Matt Frivola.
Oh yeah, Matt Frivola. Yeah, that was a good fight, man.
It was, mate. It was. So,
he got that knee was nasty.
Mate, the way how the guy turned Matt's head into the knee.
Yeah, just kind of boom. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I follow Matt Frivola. But he's such a good sport. He was like, it wasn't my night. You win some, you lose some. Like,
well, that's it. He follows me because we were both chatting shit to each other, and like you say, it's just a good sport. So once he realised that, you know, I can't remember what we were chatting shit about, but once he realised that I wasn't being malicious, he was like, oh yeah, you're quite cool. You know what I mean? And then he followed me. So I was like, oh, nice. It's one of those moments where you screenshot it and you're like, oh, look who's followed me, kind of thing. Like,
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll give Matt that. Like, if I'm ever big, like, even to his level of fame, which people might say, oh, that's not very famous or whatever, but to me, he's famous.
That's famous. He's in the UFC.
I want to keep in mind, like, how someone like him following someone like me makes me happy, and I want to try and do that to others.
It's for other people, yeah. I get it. That's.
It's just such a little gesture, but like, it also helps him as well, because it also means I have a little bit more investment in him in every fight now. So I'm always gonna be like watching him and you know, looking out for him, kind of thing.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I have one of the guys that I really. He's like a peer, but I look up to him in the political sphere. We follow each other, and it's just one of those like, damn, that's cool, you know. Like he ran for president in 2016. He didn't obviously get it or whatever, but like, you know, it's just like we have that kind of a cool thing. So
16. Try to think who that might be. I reckon I can work that
out. He came in second in the Libertarian race, so probably not. But I mean, it's Austin. His name is
John McCarthy. McAfee.
No, John McAfee was third.
Right. So was it that year though?
Yeah, it was the same year.
See, yeah. I was gonna guess it was maybe McAfee because.
No, I wish. Yeah, John, that would have been an awesome follow. No, Austin Peterson. He came runner-up to Gary Johnson for the Libertarian nominee for 2016.
That's cool.
He does a podcast every morning. I'll give you a plug, sure. He does a podcast every morning, Monday through Friday. Freedom, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, we follow each other, and it's just one of the things like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I've been following him since we've been following each other since like 2018. So just a cool thing.
No, it's cool that. It's like, you know what though, to go a bit off topic, well, not off topic, but to stick on this topic, that is so needed, like libertarianism, I think. Like, I don't know if I'd describe myself as one, but especially when I look at your system with the two-party thing, like mine's similar, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say coming from a, like, oh, I'm better than you, my country's better than yours kind of thing. But like, when you see your two-party system, the fact that there is another party now that's getting a bit more traction, a bit more attention every time there's an election cycle, like it can only be a good thing. That
yes, and that's what I've been arguing. I mean, since I started following politics, is like just having more voices is kind of the goal. And you know, I don't want to be politically heavy on this channel, but like the more people you can have that are being represented, the better the country's going to be, because it's going to be a blend of ideas from every side. And if one side doesn't have a voice, how can you have that blending of ideas, if that makes sense?
No, I agree. And like, it's similar to my country. I say the same thing. Like, how can we expect problems to be solved when we keep choosing the same two groups? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, the last group really messed up, so we decided to go with this group. Now this group, they've been doing okay, but we're not happy. So we're going to go with the other group that was the last group that really messed things up. And like, what annoys me is Labour's have just got in the UK now. And I usually vote Labour. I haven't this time around. I didn't vote. But like, what annoys me is now they're just going through this cycle of, oh yeah, this is the last party that did this. This is the last party. This is happening because of the last party. And I just know that they're going to live off this for the whole cycle until maybe they stay in or the next guys take over. And like, that's what annoys me. Like, I don't think long enough.
And to bring it back to America, so we'll delve into it just a little bit. Obviously, Trump is running again against Kamala Harris, right? Kamala's the current vice president. And she's going around, she's basically saying, oh, all of this is Trump's fault. Trump, you know, did this. I'm like, you've been in power the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, Trump was in power for 4 years. We had Democrats the 8 years before that. We had Trump, and then we had 4 years of Democrats. So 12 out of the past 16 years, your party has been, and you're blaming like everything that's wrong on him. Like, that's just weird. Like,
yeah, well, as we know,
it's not me. I was the vice president.
Yeah, and as we know, like the 4 years that Trump had, and I'm not trying to just be some Trump fan or whatever, but the 4 years that he had, it wasn't long enough for him to implement much anyway. Like, because that's what I was saying to a lot of Trump supporters at the time. I was like, why are you going to give him a second term when he's not been able to do anything in his first term anyway? You know, so yeah, I find that funny. Like, Labour do have more of a legit.
Yeah, because you had a conservative government for a little while.
Yeah, for a long time. Like, I think the last probably about 10 years.
I would say at least 8, because you had Boris, and then the lady that like resigned, whatever the hell her name was.
Liz Truss. She lasted like 3 weeks. I think she lasted. And then now we've got. It's been hard to keep up with him. Who did we have after that? Sunak, Rishi Sunak, the billionaire, and now we've got Keir Starmer.
That guy, I mean, I don't know too much about him, but just from an overseas perspective, looking over there, I'm like, I don't know if he's got what it takes, my friend.
Nah, he hasn't. He's a pussy.
He's the country's, you know.
Nah, see,
in my opinion,
I think he's a Tory. Like, I think there's a reason why I've not voted for him. I think he's a Tory, and his purpose is to get elected under Labour and then make it so no one votes for Labour again.
Make the Labour Party look horrible.
Yeah, just destroy Labour from the inside. The guy was already knighted before. The guy was chief of police when Jimmy Savile was doing his stuff, right? And he got alerted about that a lot of times. The guy's already been knighted, so he's already a sir. He's already knelt before royalty. How is that representative of Labour?
Right.
Labour's working class. Right. That's the whole point of it, is working class. How is that a representation of it?
Yeah. And that's kind of the same with our Democrat Party right now. Like all the millionaires and like companies.
Well, it's like both, isn't it? It's like people say Trump represents the everyman, and I'm like, what everyman grew up like Trump? Like,
sure, I understand what you're saying, but like the people who are backing him are different than the people are backing Kamala. Like she has like the CEO of Netflix, Facebook, like all these companies, these multi-millionaire CEOs. Like you're not the everyday person. Like you're supposed to be the party of like the common man. Like that's what the Democrat Party was supposed to be. Yeah. And it's kind of flipped.
Well, I was going to say that I kind of look at it just from the outside. I look at like the Republican Party trying to be more like the common working kind of man.
Now,
yeah, just from the outside, and the Liberal Party kind of looks more like the maybe not posh, not born posh, but the kind of like the social climbing kind of thing, like the Jay-Z, Beyonce kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So what? Back in the day, we used to call them limousine liberals.
Yeah.
So like the people who like became rich and they show off all their wealth and they try to pass all these common people things, but they don't really relate. So
yeah, that's the thing in it with politics. Like I was saying about Keir Starmer, like he's supposed to represent working class. Like none of them can ever do that because they all end up in positions of power and they all end up being rich. So none of them. They all get so far removed from the working class that it's just impossible for anyone. Like you'd literally have to pull a man out of a factory and give him the prime minister job. If you
right, like you don't let them serve in the government at all before then.
Yeah, like just totally. I don't want to say corrupt, but just not influenced by politics at all. You know what I mean? Because. Yeah, no one in Labour, no one in Tory, no one. We have Liberal Democrats as well. No one in the Lib Dem or any of the parties represent working men. None of them do. Do you need to go, by the way?
No. They're making some tea. So.
Okay. I was going to say if you do, it's no problem.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. You got your blinkers on, as we call it over here.
Yeah. I was just seeing what they were doing, and they're making a peppermint tea.
Oh, nice. Very English.
Ancient China lesson.
He's learning about ancient China and obviously peppermint tea. So.
Yeah. Very.
I was just like curious what they're doing over there. That's all.
That's good though. So part of your education system is to get your kids to like cook food from that culture and stuff like that.
Well, my son, he's homeschooled, so we kind of make up his own thing. But he has this kit like that comes every month, and he gets to learn about different cultures. And for this month is China, so he's learning about the Chinese. And in each little box or whatever, it has like an activity or like a food or something to try from that culture. So.
Oh, that's really cool. I was homeschooled for a little bit, but yeah, it was probably different to what your kid's doing. But you know what though? I learned the most because. So basically, I got kicked out of my school, but I didn't do anything to warrant being kicked out of it. I was just a nuisance, and they didn't want me there. So that meant that the school had failed me. So they would get fined if they expelled me, legit. They'd get fined like £500, and they were explaining all this to me as a student. And they didn't want to pay the £500, so they were like, "Do you want to be homeschooled or whatever?" I don't know what's happened on Syde's part, but I'll just carry on with this story. So, so they said, "Do you want to be homeschooled?" So I was like, "Yeah, cool." And they thought that I had parents at home to help. Wait, I can just see Syde popping back in. Just give us 1 minute. Here we go.
There's a storm outside. I think I just got kicked off the internet for a second.
No problem. It's not a mad one, is it? You guys have mad storms out there.
What's that?
Not like a bad one, is it?
No, the hurricane just passed through, man, last week.
Yeah.
But just a storm. We didn't get much of the hurricane, but my sister's house had some damage, and the whole coast of Florida got destroyed. So
yeah,
it's pretty rough. But over here we were fine because we're like right in the middle. So
you're more like in the land, more landlocked.
Yeah, we're like literally in the middle of the state. So
oh yeah,
like
it's scary, man. We have nothing like that. Like we're so lucky, like in the sense of weather. Like the worst thing I've ever seen in England. Trying to think. Probably like mudslides and stuff like that. Like, yeah, but it doesn't really hurt anyone or affect many people. So
right.
We're very lucky.
No, yeah, it's pretty bad. And then, I mean, that hurricane caused like massive flooding in a different state, North Carolina, that killed a lot of people and destroyed some infrastructure. So our country's hurting right now from that damn hurricane, but this one's nothing. It just, my lights flickered and took off my internet for a second.
Yeah. So do you ever get used to that? Like,
that's funny. Do you get used to that? There's like that meme of like the Florida man just standing out in the middle of their yard while there's a hurricane coming. You've seen it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh, it's not going to hit us or it's going to, kind of north of us. So it's only going to be some wind and rain for 5 hours. So like kind of do get
like
used to it.
Regular storm on your side, like.
But there have been some bad ones. I mean, we were without power for a little while a few years ago. So we had a bunch of battery backups and dying of heat stroke over here with some fans and stuff.
Yeah, my uncle, he went to when it was Katrina, he went to New Orleans because he used to fix generators. Like, so he used to live in Manhattan and he used to like fix the generators on top of the skyscrapers, like very specialist. So like even like Israel would get him out there to work on their generators and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what he used to do. Whenever there was like big disasters out in America, like he's too old now, so he won't be there. But yeah, so he would go out there and fix the generators or get generators running and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's very hazardous work in those conditions, but I'm sure it paid him very well to do that.
Oh yeah, it paid him a lot, man. Like, you know what? This the only time I went to America was to see him twice in New York. Like, he's the only reason I've been to your country, and it helped me see a different world. Cheers.
That's good.
Yeah, I think
it's peppermint tea.
I think we have peppermint tea here as well.
You don't like it? Alicia hates it.
I don't like it.
Marley hates it. Here, I'll take it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're like, thank God you're taking it. No, it's good.
You know what? I don't like tea. Like, probably like the least Englishman thing ever. But I don't like tea. Never
I like light teas, like green tea, white tea, really light stuff. When it starts to get to that dark black.
Yeah.
And I damn sure won't drink it with like cream or whatever. You guys are weird.
Why? What? So you just have it without milk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because here we only pretty much have it with milk. Like
very
rarely you see
that's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never tried it, but I don't drink milk anyway. So like, it's automatically a turn off.
Well, do you know what? I always get told I'm very good at making cups of tea. So whenever we meet up, I'll make you a cup of tea the way I would do it, proper English style, and see if you like it.
Well, I mean, if these 9 very, very generous people who are watching right now are being more generous, they could donate to our Let's Get Together fund, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, imagine if like we could meet up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Long-term goals.
So cool that. Sorry, but I've got to go to you though. Like you're because America's so big.
Yeah.
But I mean.
So you've only been to New York, you said?
You what? Sorry.
You've been to the U.S., but you've been to New York specifically?
Yeah, only New York. I flew to Philadelphia, but I was only in the airport, so don't want to count that. But,
Yeah, right. I got you.
Yeah.
That's like some of the states I've been to. I was like, I've been there, but I've only been there for like a few hours waiting for the next flight, so it doesn't really count.
Just getting bullied by a bunch of security in Philadelphia, so I won't call that a visit. So, yeah.
I mean, you got the actual, the full treatment, so that is the visit.
Yeah, Philadelphia is rough, man. The airport in Philadelphia is rough. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, everyone was like, I don't know how to say it without being really rude, but everyone was like ghetto. Yeah, everyone was like no manners. They were just straight up like just telling you what to do and just pretty much just forcing you about.
Direct to the point, like.
Yeah. Like they were more New York than New Yorkers. Like that's
stereotypical, right? Like.
Yeah.
No, I think one of the things about, America, sure, but like Florida specifically is like people aren't like generally nice to each other. We more like keep to ourselves and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like you see strangers as kind of like an imposition. As a stranger, yeah, they're not somebody you need to cater to. They're just some other person kind of in your way from doing what you want to do.
See, in Manchester, it's totally different. Like I say Manchester because it's more noticeable in Manchester than most places. But like, yeah, so in Manchester, everyone talks to everyone.
Yeah.
Like, everywhere you go, like you go in a shop, the shopkeeper will ask you how you're doing, and like if you've got kids with you, they'll ask your kids how they're doing, and everyone just conversates, even if you've never met that person before. But when I moved to where my ex, like which is in Cheshire, which is still up north, but like it's a bit more country, so like. I would have thought that people were a bit more friendlier.
Yeah.
They were just like, and it took me so long to adjust to working with them because, like, everyone I walk past, I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?" You know what I mean? Like, it's not even a question. It's just a.
It's just a thing, yeah. That you do.
How you doing, kind of thing, yeah. And like, they'd either answer it very like. They take it serious, like a serious question, tell me how they're doing, which I can't really hate on them for, or they just ignore me. And it took me so long to get used to that because, if you do that here in Manchester, you're actively being rude. You know what I mean? So it took me a while to be like, no, they're not being rude. It's just how they are.
So here, I would say, honestly, if you were walking down the street, you ask somebody how they're doing, they probably smile at you and kind of nod. Like,
yeah.
And they wouldn't be rude specifically, but they just like acknowledge that you asked them something and keep moving.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it can be like that here, but we are a bit more like talkative. Like, I don't know what it is. We just like to chat up north. I don't know why.
Yeah, down here, like I said, we pretty much keep to ourselves, and you'll find that people aren't rude, but it's just like
just in their own, like their own zones kind of thing.
Like we got enough to worry about. We don't have time to worry about you too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got enough Florida men. But that's the thing, innit? You don't know if it's a Florida man or just a man, so you've got to be careful.
Yeah. So I'm glad we had that chance to talk about that. I do intend to travel the world one day, but I'm not wealthy enough to do that. Yeah. I don't have the government giving me a month off from work and with pay.
But so you can't get holidays from work?
Yeah, I think I have like 3 weeks that I could take, but I can't take them like sequentially. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like a week at a time.
You could break it up over like a month, a few days here, a few days there.
Yeah. As long as it gets approved.
3 weeks off.
Right, I can take like a week, like 9 days probably, but
that's mad. No wonder you guys never leave. You haven't got enough time to.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I mean, it's true what they say. Yeah, America is so damn huge. Like, if we want to go somewhere and experience something different, like we'll just go to a different state, and you have a completely different culture.
Of your state, yeah. That's the thing. Like, I remember in New York, I'd go out to, what was it called? a place called Orange County and Buffalo, which is pretty more famous in it. But I remember going out to Buffalo, and it's just you just won't think you're in New York, like just a totally different area.
So, depending on where you are in Orange County, but that's upstate New York. That's up near all the lakes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Buffalo obviously is a big city, but all around Buffalo is like nothing. It's like farmland and country and stuff, and probably an hour or so, 2 hours maybe outside of Buffalo is where Alicia was born. So when I met her, she's like, yeah, I'm from New York, you know, that I was born in New York. You know, you have this thing in your brain, like
New York,
big city, a lot of people. And then 2 years ago, we went up and visited her family. She's like, yeah, this is where I'm from. And it's like more country than Florida, you know, it's like farmland. It's like, wow,
actually,
okay.
Like I say,
it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, I might have even gone out to that area where Alicia's from because my uncle, he wanted to show me like what America was like. Because he was like, you're not seeing America, man. Because we were in Long Island. That's where he lived. And like, you know what's ironic? There was a Diddy White party while I was there.
No, there wasn't.
Serious. Like, there was all these limousines and stuff. And I was like, what's this? And he was like, you know P. Diddy? I was like, yeah.
Of course I do.
And I was like, no way. And I wanted to go. I was like, how do I go?
That is crazy.
But so we stayed in Long Island, which is less New York than New York, obviously, but it's still like New Yorkish, you know what I mean? So he was like, I want to show you actual America, man. Like, I want to show you all the big fields and just nothingness for miles. So we went out to like Buffalo, and I think it's a place called Rochester or something like that.
Yeah, okay. So you've been to Rochester. Rochester's about an hour away from where Alicia was born.
Yeah, we were out on the road for hours, mate. Like, I was thinking,
awesome.
Yeah, because where we travelled, the amount of time it took, we probably would have travelled most of our country. You know what I mean? And we're still in New York, so it was pretty crazy. It was pretty mind-blowing.
So I'm going to share this here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, so you see Buffalo's here.
Uh-huh.
Rochester's here.
Oh, yeah.
And she was born over here in this area. She lived in Rochester.
Oh, Syracuse. I think we went up there as well, you know. Up near Syracuse as well. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I mean Syracuse, but it's fine. But yeah, so right around in here-ish is where she was born. So you know about all this country and farmland. It's not New York that you think.
Literally nothing. Yeah, it's like when you see the haystacks and, you know, it's literally like that. Yeah, so we probably drove past because we went Buffalo, Rochester, up to Syracuse, and like, we just did all that country part of New York. Like, it was nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you got to do that because me personally, just being from Florida, and you know, I've gone to other states, but I've never been that far up north. It was a culture shock for me, just to see like, wow, this is crazy. You know, like, and just how varied the landscape is and how different it is everywhere.
Yeah,
so.
innit? Yeah, it's mad. New York's crazy, man. Like, New York has everything, like, which, you know, I know it's probably colder than most states out there, but when it gets hot in New York, it's bloody boiling. Like, when it's nice, it's nice. You know what I mean? And
so you want to come to Florida? You know how hot it was today?
Yeah. Do you know what though?
Hang on, let me do the quick conversion.
No, actually, Florida's more like UK though, with humidity in it.
Oh, it's hot. Yeah, it's humid.
Yeah.
F to C. I can't ever remember the conversion times by 2 add 30 or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
So is it like 38 Celsius today? 101?
Jeez, yeah, 38. Jesus. Yeah, that's like Tenerife, like where my nan lives. It's a little island just off Africa. And like, mate, that place, yeah. Like, basically, they filmed the first Planet of the Apes, they filmed in Tenerife. And all the scenes in Tatooine, Star Wars, they filmed in Tenerife because it's just a volcano. And my nan lived there and made that place. I reckon I'll be all right with Florida because I've been to Tenerife, right? And that's like Saharan Africa kind of level.
Yeah.
So I think I'll be all right.
And this is it's humid. I mean, Florida's humid, even when it's in, like, I don't know what the conversion is, but when it's like in the 80s or whatever, it still is hot because it's so heavy and so wet. Like,
that's why it's horrible there, man. Because like in Spain, it's all right because it's not as humid, so it can be as hot as you want, but you're still getting that nice breeze and
coming off the Mediterranean and whatnot.
Yeah, but then like places like here or like where you are, or as I can imagine, like New Orleans would be like just that smoggy, that putrid, like I don't even know how to describe
It's heaviness. That heaviness, yeah.
So when we were all moaning in the UK about, oh, it's hot and all that, that's why, because it's humid. It's not because it's really hot. It's more because it's humid.
No, well, here we got both. So it's hot and it's humid.
Yeah. Oh, God. That'll be fun, that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here my whole life, so I've gotten used to it. I'd rather be hot than cold. I'm not a good cold person.
I'm the opposite. I'd rather be cold, yeah. I prefer.
I'm not a good cold person. I don't do well in the cold.
I don't do well in it, but my theory is it's much easier to get comfortable in the cold than to get comfortable in the warmth.
I mean, I've been here my whole life. I wear shorts, t-shirt, and some slides or flip flops or something, and I'm comfortable. Like
I know, yeah. There's you, and I'm dressed for winter, like full on like pants, hoodie, freezing.
Is it cold over there?
Let me see the temperature. It might just be me feeling cold. No, it's not that bad. It's 7. Don't know what that is in yours. 7 degrees, 7 Celsius.
7 Celsius is about, it's like 45.
Yeah. So
that's cold. That's very cold.
Yeah, well, that's my norm. Like, I wouldn't say it's cold. Like, this is normal for me.
Yeah, no, that's cold. That's a cold day in Florida.
Yeah, this is like an all right day in England.
Yeah.
Like an okay day.
No, that's cold. Like, fuck that.
Nah, so when I was working in the winter, I was working throughout the night, and I'd leave the house and it'd be like -2 sometimes, and I just used to think like this is inhumane. Like it's just not right. Like I should get extra money just for having to navigate this fucking weather.
Yeah, that's too cold, man. That is too cold.
Yeah, I lived in a flat with a friend once, and it had holes in the windows, so like we didn't have good insulation, and would wake up in the winter and our mustaches would be literally frozen because of not like we'd have to make sure we were covered up because like I'm not even joking, like icicles coming out of our noses and stuff.
Yeah, see, that doesn't happen in the heat. That doesn't happen in Florida.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could get comfy though.
Just bundle up and you're fine. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I like my state, so.
No, yeah, I get it. I mean, with me, it's not even the weather. Like, I'd rather have sunny weather, but with cold temperature. Like, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I'm just a cold guy, man.
Speaking of cold guys, though, that's a nice segue. Thank you. You set that up perfectly. Alex Pereira, man, he's fighting this weekend.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you think Roundtree has any chance?
You know what? I think he does. I actually do think he does. There's something I saw him do, right? I was watching like his highlights, and I saw one knockout he did, and I thought he could do this to Alex if he's smart. But it's if he can tell it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So a guy leg kicked him, right, and you could see it was a bad leg kick. And the guy, he telegraphed he was going to do this leg kick again. And Khalil took it like knowing, but he took it and threw a straight at the same time. And that just totally just rocked this guy. And I think if he can implement that as Alex is kicking, that'll be a good way of getting him on the ground and then hammer fisting him.
Sure. I mean, there's always that chance, but I was watching some Khalil fights, and one thing I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed it in the fight that you were watching, he keeps his right hand low. His left he'll keep up high, but he keeps that right low. Anthony Smith caught him.
Yeah.
Johnny Walker put him away.
Yeah.
I don't particularly think it's going to be that close. I think we're doing a big hype job on Khalil Roundtree, who has he really beat?
Well, that's the thing, innit? Like, no one really of any substance, really.
I'm gonna pull him
he
up
doesn't
here.
look that fast, if I'm honest. When I was watching it, he doesn't look quick. Like, he looks quick compared to like Anthony Smith. You know what I mean? Like, but then if I'm comparing that to Pereira, he looks quite slow, to be
Pedestrian,
fair.
normal.
Yeah.
Let me bring this.
And I do worry that Muay Thai versus kickboxing usually ends with the kickboxer winning, and Khalil is a Muay Thai heavy style, so I can see that working against him as well.
Yeah, and I think, he said he's slower. He's kind of marches forward. He doesn't really, like, he has technique. Like, I don't want to say he doesn't have technique. That would be silly. But he doesn't have the level of technique as a Pereira.
No,
He definitely has the power. There's absolutely no doubt about that. So, I mean, anybody can get lucky on any day. I won't absolutely count it out. But I just don't see that happening, in my humble opinion.
No, I don't. If I'm honest, like I'm not totally writing him off. I think he's got a slight chance, but it's very slight.
So I just pulled up his fights here. He beat Anthony Smith, Chris Daukaus, who didn't he move up to like heavyweight or something? Was that the same guy?
Yeah, he's rubbish.
Yeah, Dustin Jacoby, Carl Roberson. Like, who are these people?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of Jacoby, but
yes.
I don't know why.
I've heard of his name, but like Gokhan Saki, Eric Anders.
Gokhan Saki is a legend, and funnily enough, he was a kickboxing legend. So, yeah, that's a good win.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, whatever.
No, that could be a good foretelling though, because that Saki guy was a renowned kickboxing champion, maybe even for glory. That could be a good foresight.
So he had 3 MMA fights. He was 1 and 2 in MMA.
Oh, fair dues.
So,
but to be fair though, he beat him striking. It's
yep.
not like,
KO
not like he's
TKO.
taking him down.
Oh, that's one thing. Roundtree will not take anybody down. Like,
no.
he's going to do it on feet.
I don't think keep saying this about, like, they say it about Israel's opponents and Pereira's. Is what he needs to do is taking, like, Sean Strickland's a good example. Like, when he fought both of them, like, the one take everyone said is, what Sean needs to do is take him down. And I before the fights, I was like, when does Sean take people down? Like, where are you guys all coming from with Sean taking people down? Like,
not only that,
but they say it about Justin Gaethje as well. Like, Justin Gaethje is a great wrestler. Yeah, but he doesn't want to do it. He never does it.
That's not what he does. But even, I mean, you look at it, and Pereira has some pretty decent takedown defense. Like, he's not bad. Like, I mean, he hasn't had an opportunity to show it too often, but when he does, like, he holds his own. It's not like he's some scrub, and he's training with really high-level people, so he's going to learn. I mean, this is, his 10th MMA fight or something like that, so he's going to do nothing but get better.
With how big he is and how strong he is, like, it's like trying to pull a tree down, you know what I mean? So good luck. Like, that's what always annoys me with the whole, like, what you got to do is, you think these strikers are not training like wrestling?
Yeah, that's the dumbest shit. Like, just get them to the ground and it's over. Well, good luck.
Like, how many guys that were good wrestlers for Izzy? Not one of them got him down. Like, some of them attempted it, some of them tried.
Like Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker is a great wrestler.
Yeah. Didn't really work out. Yeah, I mean, people could say that last fight was closer, and some people give it Rob, which I can kind of see, but it didn't really help him much in the fight. Like, it still ended up the most best parts for Rob in those fights were striking,
standing up. Exactly.
But you know what, as well, like. What did you think of Brian Battle? I find, before you answer, one thing I find really interesting about how American fighters become like the new favorite guy is, all right, so if I just be a bit racist, like it's literally like Kobe Covington, Brazil, now Brian Battle, I'll never get beat by a French guy. It's like,
Yeah.
Is that the go-to method in America of becoming a popular combat sports person?
I don't know.
A little bit of xenophobia.
I don't. You could probably be right. It's weird, but I will say the reason I think Brian Battle has become so popular is because his story just came out, and if you didn't know his story, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I saw him on Tough. I did watch him on Tough.
Okay, so pre-Tough, did you know he fought at heavyweight?
Yeah.
And he lost like a significant amount of weight, and
like he was like 300 pounds. Like
yes,
yeah.
So like his story came out right before the fight, and then people kind of picked up on it, and then obviously he did the pro America, hate everybody else thing. So I think it snowballed. I don't think it was strictly because of racism or whatever.
Yeah. It's just I find it funny how like because now everyone's like, oh, we love Brian Battle. Like he's the man. I liked him before that anyway because I watched him in Tough and I quite liked him. It was actually the last Tough I ever watched, and so I'm not. It's not really affected how I think of him at all. And I know he's not that way inclined necessarily, from his person.
That's the same thing with Moicano. Did you see Moicano, his post-fight speech, and like how Americans fucking love him now?
Yeah, but did you see him in the speech before as well, where he was like, when I retire, I want to be a policeman. I want to get all the bad guys in America.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing, Moicano. But you know what I love about Moicano though is whenever he wins, he recommends a book. He always recommends a good book. And
he put out 2 of them. He's like, I called these 2 people out.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I wanted to talk about because it was super relevant. But have you noticed since we brought up Dan Hooker, everybody and their mother is calling out Dan Hooker for a fight?
And Chandler. Ever since we spoke about Chandler and Hooker, and I come up with the idea about
fuck Michael
Chandler, and I come up with that fantastic idea about Conor McGregor leading him on and then fighting Hooker instead. It's all what everyone spoke about is who Hooker's fighting. Chandler's got a fight, and every fight, every week, even in my notes now, it says Moicano's next fight, Hooker, Poirier, Gaethje. Every lightweight's calling him out at the moment.
Yep, it's so weird. It's it's just recent, and it's just since we started talking about him. Yeah. I'm not saying it was because of the SydeBoob podcast, but I'm saying it wasn't happening before that.
Exactly.
I just thought it was really interesting how, even like I said, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, just people big top of the food chain people are saying, yeah, I want to fight Dan Hooker.
Yeah,
that's a fight I want.
Yeah, even McCarthy.
Good for him. I mean, good for him.
He's earned that. If anyone's earned that, that kind of have all the big names calling him out before what I think is just before the end of his career. He's another one. He fought at heavyweight.
No.
Yeah, I don't think he put on the weight for it. I think he just fought just as a person.
Just because he's freaking weird and wild and.
Yeah, but I won't be surprised if you look it up, it was Volkanovski who he fought. But yeah, I do know he has fought at heavyweight as well.
Dan Hooker fought a 280-pound fighter, won by soccer kick to the head.
Pride rules. I like it.
Let me see. Link that brings you to the video isn't available anymore. Damn it. All right, hang on.
Imagine, you know what? Do you think they'd ever bring that back, soccer kicking?
Man, I doubt it. I
don't think you should. Not with. I mean, I know there was a lot of Brazilians, and Vanderlei Silva was kind of the popular one anyway. But I think now there's so many more competitors that come from I was going to say football, but from soccer playing backgrounds. I think you'd see a decapitation.
So this is, I think it would be.
Was big.
I mean, he's bigger, but he's not like big.
No, I just saw a bit of a double chin then. It was like distinctive.
That's crazy. You're 180 pounds and probably fighting a 300-pound guy.
Yeah, crazy. But to be honest, like,
Yeah, this guy's out of shape. He's
Yeah.
just throwing wild punches. But you can tell this is old.
UFC heavyweights, like, I think a lot of the UFC heavyweights just aren't that good. They're just willing to fight.
Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah. Like, this guy doesn't look much different than Tai Tuivasa. Like, let's be honest. Like, and I don't mean just physicality. I mean, like, how he's fighting. Like, Dan Hooker would play games with Tai Tuivasa right now. Like, any middleweight would beat any heavyweight in the UFC. I actually fully, like, I fully think that. I think I'll go further. Any welterweight and any middleweight will beat almost any heavyweight apart from John Jones, Garn, Aspinall, the ones that are actually physically fit.
Are you saying in a straight up fight, or if
any
if
kind
weight
of
didn't
fight.
matter?
Any kind of fight, even a bar fight, because they've all got.
I mean, the skill levels are completely different, yeah.
But think about it, right? They've all these heavyweights. They've all got the frame of like welterweights, middleweights, light heavyweights. Yeah, like if they didn't have all that, if they were actually athletic and actually trained and actually put the work in, they wouldn't be heavyweights. They'd probably be welterweights. So the reason why they're heavyweights is because they can't commit. They can't put all the effort in that's required to be a fighter. Yeah, I don't care, because I'm not saying this about heavyweight boxers. Yeah, because they're fit, they can fight, they can run, they run miles and stuff like that. Whereas I look at UFC heavyweights, honestly, I wouldn't back a lot of them in bar fights in England. I wouldn't, like, honestly. And I'm not even just being a dick. I just think they're willing to fight in front of a crowd, and the fact, like, that's literally why they're there.
I don't know. I mean, obviously they have some level of skill.
Yeah, like, obviously they'd be the random person. Like, I was a bit harsh with the throw them in a bar in England, but I actually do think someone with confidence will beat them. Like, like someone like that grew up with a little bit of boxing or something. Yeah, I think he'll put him in a fight with Tai Tuivasa. Let's see what happens.
Do you think some random guy could be Derek Lewis?
No, because Derek's a street fighter, isn't he? Like, because Derek is different, right? Derek's trained under what's his face, George Foreman. Like, Derek's actually had some good training and stuff like that. And look at his physique recently; he is actually coming.
Yeah, he's coming a little better.
Yeah, so Derek's a bit different. Like, Derek's noticed this. Derek has noticed what I'm saying, and he's correcting it within himself.
Yeah, so I mean, I get what you're saying. A lot of the heavyweights are only good because they hit hard, and if they can't hit hard, they lose.
Yeah,
I get that, and I said that before.
Put it this way, right? I know I said a few weeks ago, I think boxers will beat most people in MMA in a fight. Yeah, but right, most people wouldn't think a middleweight boxer would be a middleweight MMA fighter in a fight. Yeah, but I actually do think a heavyweight boxer would fucking wipe the floor with most heavyweight MMA guys. Like, in any fight.
I don't know, man. I'll take the kickboxer any day.
Look at Dubois and Joshua, yeah? Do you think they've never done any other type of training?
I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure.
Like, they grew up in the UK, so I'm pretty sure they would have done kickboxing, Thai boxing. I'm pretty sure they would have done karate. And, like, so that's still going to stay with them. And, like, they've shown, well, more AJ. AJ's shown that, you know, he was world-class amateur and professional. So he's shown that if you give him something to train for, he can get to that world-class level. So, I don't know. I just think Tai Tuivasa could use all his limbs and he still wouldn't break in to the top 20 boxing thing. And that's if he's allowed to go against the boxers. They're only allowed to box in boxing rules, but he's allowed to use everything. I still think he won't get into the top 20.
I think we pick on Tai Tuivasa a lot.
Yeah.
Because
it's
crazy that he's still rated. He's still ranked. Like, that's wild.
That's why I pick on him a lot. It's similar with Michael Chandler. It's like, and John Jones. It's like, they're all held in such high esteem for no reason at all. So instead of like talking about you like you're this great guy, I'm going to be like, no, I'm sick of you now. I'm fucking sick of you. It's like someone said in a reply that me and you were doing to Chandler, was like, oh, people actually don't like Chandler.
Yeah, I didn't know there was anybody who didn't like Michael Chandler. Like, what?
And I'm like, stop falling for this UFC media fucking thing. Like, just because UFC says no one can dislike Michael Chandler doesn't mean it's true. The guy's fucking annoying.
No, I thought it was funny too. You're like, he's not gonna suck your dick, dude. Like, get off his jock, bro.
Yeah. Like, that's what annoys me is like, you plug into what we were saying with, I didn't think anyone, like, what are you even doing? Like, I get it, you like Chandler. I don't think Chandler's going to see it. He's more likely
he's going to notice
my bullshit than you sticking up for him.
Oh, Michael Chandler, walk on. Like, that's such a dumb fucking thing. Walk on.
Like, what does that even mean? Like, walk away? Like, keep going? Like,
I guess it's open to your imagination.
It really is. It's
whatever you want it to be.
Open to interpretation.
Whatever you want it to be, that's what I want it to be.
Yeah. It's like the whole see you at the top. So he's suggesting that we're already above him. Like, everyone else is already above him. And he's got to get there.
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think he realizes that his two slogans make him seem like such a weakling or such a like, because everything he does is like, I don't know if you've seen him talking about why he's accepted this fight, but everything he does and says is always to make himself out to look like the ultimate hero and
such a winner.
I've made the correct choice and all this stuff. And like, that's what's funny about him, right? He's so determined to have this
to be like
personality. But yet his catchphrases are so open to interpretation. Like, they're so non-committal.
Well, it's like, yeah, I'll walk on from being a fan from you, or I'll walk on from watching your fights.
Yeah. It's like I always say, walk off, man. See you on the canvas, walk off, KO, bang. Because that's what Charles is going to do to you, mate.
You think Charles is going to win that one?
Yeah, I do. I mean, with Chandler, you always have that first round of chaos where he can win. Like that's one thing I do like about Chandler. He imposes himself on every fight. Like, which
you fight his fight, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's smart or whatever, but I think that's the only way he can fight anyway. So I'll give him that. But no, I see it going exactly the same, mate. I see him getting dropped by a jab in like the second round after knackering himself in the first.
I could definitely see that for sure. I think, especially with Oliveira, he had that resurgence where, he looked like he would be down and out, but then he would come back and win the fights. If he still has that mentality and that push and that drive, like, even if you catch him, he's still going to push through, and he'll probably catch you in a submission or do something to end up on top and ground and pound. So
it's why
No, I was saying it could happen for sure that he just gets dropped and that's it.
But yeah, it's why his Justin Gaethje fight was so pleasing for me, because the build-up, Justin was all like, oh, he's just a quitter. He's quit before, I'll make him quit again. And then Charles taps him out. So, I don't think he's got no quitting him anymore. Like, you can keep trying to rely on him quitting, you trying to pressure him and him quitting. All what you're doing is tiring yourself for the next 2-3 rounds, and you don't want to be tired against that guy.
Nope. You get tired, you get tapped, and that's just what's going to happen.
Well, what I love about Oliveira is he's such a good striker as well. It's come
along a lot.
is very much like Islam, where he can just finish you wherever he wants. Like, it's up to him.
Yeah, he's gotten so much better, and the Charles Oliveira from 8 years ago or whatever is not the same guy.
Mm. And again, he's similar to Holloway, where his whole career has been UFC. Like, I think he was the youngest ever fighter at one point, wasn't he, for the UFC?
I don't know if that, but I know he was very young. He was very, very young. But I think that takes us to making some picks. Have you thought about your picks at all?
Yeah, I think this one's quite obvious, isn't it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Like, to be honest, like, whenever you think this is usually when you get proven wrong. But I'd say there's two 50-50s, really, that I'm looking at there. And that's Pena and Pennington and maybe Holland and Delidze.
Yeah.
Roland Delidze, is he the guy? Who did he fight?
He recently fought. I think we even Anthony Smith. Yeah, he went up a weight and beat Anthony Smith.
So I'm not sure what to think of that because
he took it on short notice, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it was up a weight as well. So
that tells me he's going to be much bigger than Holland because Holland obviously goes from middleweight to welterweight.
Yeah,
and he looks better at welterweight in my opinion. Yeah. So it is a 50-50. I'm going to go Kevin Holland here, though.
I like Kevin Holland. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'll go Kevin Holland on that one as well. The next one.
If Roman, I'm sorry, I just want to comment this, but if Roman gets on top of him, Kevin is really content with laying on his back. So that's the way that Roman's going to win, I think, if he gets him down on his back and then just kind of pounds him.
But that's the thing, though. He's dangerous on his back, though, Kevin, as well, isn't he? Like,
he is, but he's really content to just stay there. So he might just lose from being on his back.
Yeah, that's the only thing with Kevin. Like, sometimes he just doesn't seem up for it. And like, the times he's not up for it, he just kind of lets himself get beat. And like, you're watching him and you're like, I know you're better than this. You know what I mean?
I saw somebody had mentioned, like, Kevin Holland's always up to fight, but not always up to win. Like, he always wants to fight, but he's never, like, pressures enough to win, if that makes sense. It's
a strange one. He's one of my favorite, like, characters.
I love Kevin.
In the UFC. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, he's
the next one, pretty obvious, isn't it?
Kayla, yeah. I like Caitlin Vieira. I really do, but I think Kayla's going to take her down, pound her out, and it's going to be pretty quick.
Yeah, and I think as well the fact that she's been sparring with Dakota, who's like a kickboxing Muay Thai champion, I think that is going to stand her in good stead on the feet. So I think Kayla's could finish that one wherever she wants. But
I don't see
a surprise. Don't get me wrong, I'd love a surprise, but it's definitely going to be Kayla.
And then I think Kayla's going to just, whoever, we will pick that here in a second, but whoever that winner is, I think Kayla's going to get the next title shot if she beats number 2. I mean, obviously, right? She's going to move into that title shot. So
yeah, I mean, it's nice that they're doing that in that division where you've literally got the champion, number 1, number 2, and number 3 all fighting at the same night. So
it's cool because if somebody misses weight or if something happens, you can slide them in because they're all training and trying to make the weight. So it was smart for them to do that.
It'd be funny if Pena just pulls out on the night and then all of a sudden Pennington's got to face Harrison. Like, that'll be funny.
Yeah.
But you know what though, Pena, like, people don't like her because of her personality, but I think she's like a good fighter. I mean, like, I don't get, a lot of people don't say she's a bad fighter, but I don't see that at all. Like,
she's tenacious. I mean, her striking, needed to be improved, but I mean, she caught Amanda Nunes. Exactly. Like, it wasn't so bad that she couldn't hold her own. I mean, it's not like Amanda Nunes absolutely destroyed her in the first fight. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it was the other way around, wasn't it? Really, like, I mean, towards the end, I remember watching that, thinking, "Oh my God, she's actually gonna." She's
gonna win her. She's gonna win.
Yeah, like Joe Rogan or whoever was commentating. I remember being like laughing at how perplexed they sounded, like watching it, because like they just did not have that in their scripts at all.
No, not at all. They didn't know what to say. Their talking points were moot.
Yeah. Next one, Oh,
Aldo versus Mario Batista. I got to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Mario Batista.
no, I don't. I thought I was just gonna go Aldo just because it's Aldo.
It's Aldo, right? And you know something that I saw, and this will probably be an interesting factoid for you. Let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure Jose Aldo's only like 36 years old or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
he is. He's one of them guys that just looks ancient. But,
oh, 38. I'm sorry. So,
yeah,
but
I
like
mean, it's not that old though.
you would think, like, with as much as we've seen of Jose Aldo and how many fights he's been in, he's a legend. Like, he'd be in his 40s and on his way out, but he's still in his 30s. I'm almost 38, you know? Like, he's
That's
still,
it.
you know, just outside of the prime of his life. So,
Yeah. And Aldo, man, he's had such a career, and like the fact he's still fighting like good guys in UFC, it's just crazy. Like let's put it to perspective. How many fights has Aldo had since the Conor fight, and then how many Conor had? Conor's had about 3, whereas Aldo's had about 15. You know what I mean?
right.
He's been boxing as well. He's had like 3-4 boxing fights.
Yeah, he retired and came out of retirement, and this will be his second or third fight since coming back.
So, yeah.
So we're going to go Aldo here, huh?
Batista, but I'm just going to go with Aldo just blindly.
Yeah, same. I don't feel like we're doing justice to Batista. I'm sure he's great, and I'm sure other MMA podcasts will talk him up significantly, but I'm going to go with the legend here.
Yeah, I mean, for Batista's sake, it would be nice for him to just go out there and start Aldo, like
get that win and then the legend.
Yeah, but obviously it's Aldo, and I just want to see him like them leg kicks and the way you know, I just want to see that back.
Yeah, and if this guy Batista is any sort of a wrestler, good luck trying to take Jose Aldo down. His takedown defense is like world class. So I don't know what his style is, but if he's trying to get Jose Aldo to the ground, probably not going to happen.
Look at the Merab fight. Like, that's aged really well now.
Yeah.
Merab's the champ. Because I think Aldo was probably the one he struggled with the most in his little run. I
think he stuffed 18 of Merab's takedowns. 18 for 18.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like 91% takedown defense rate.
Mm-hmm. That's
insane.
It's primarily a striker as well. It's crazy. But yeah, and then like, so if you compare that, so Merab, since fighting him for Peter Yan, and he's fought Sean O'Malley, and he fought Henry Cejudo, and he made all 3 of them look easy. Like,
take him down so easily.
Yeah, and maybe he's got better since, you know, so that's why. But
could be right.
Like, that's aged so well for Aldo. All right, now on to the smoke break fight.
Yeah, so we have Juliana Pena coming off of, I think, 2 years off, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yeah.
When was her last fight? 2022, July 2022. She took 2 years off. She's coming back. She's still number 1 somehow. She's coming off a loss to Amanda Nunes, who got her belt back that night. So she's coming off a loss and 2 years off, and she's getting a title fight. Make it make sense.
I know, but you know, in the UFC, if you beat someone like Nunes, or you know, it carries a lot of weight, even if it doesn't make much sense. Like, so yeah, I don't know. Like, that division is struggling though, in it as well. Like, when you think about it, Kayla Harrison's just come into it. I'd say she's the biggest star of that division already, and she's only come into it. And then the next biggest one, I'd say, is Pena. But
right, like, hasn't fought in 2 years.
Yeah, and people get more annoyed with Pena than they do like her. I actually do like Pena. I really like her. But most MMA fans I speak to don't like her. Yeah.
Absolutely hate her.
So, like, it's a strange division, because it's like Pennington, there's not much about her to like or dislike. Like, even as a fighter, that describes both her personality
and her MMA record.
And I'm not trying to be cruel to her. Like, it's just the truth.
I mean, she's on what is this, a 7-fight win streak? I mean, that's something to celebrate.
Another little fact: if she wins, she will beat Amanda's record for the most wins in that division.
That's wild. It's just because she's been around for so long.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think as well, this has to be the longest rivalry in the UFC where they've never fought each other. I think it's about 11 years. Them two have had like a weird little rivalry, Pena and Pennington.
That's funny.
Yeah, ever since their tough season.
The Ultimate Fighter season. What season was she on? Tough, Pena.
It was an early one, like season 2 or something.
Trash talk. Raquel got under her skin. Tough 18.
Oh God. There's me like, it was an early one. It was the 18th one.
Yeah, but I mean, what are they on now?
Yeah. Probably triple numbers now.
Tough 18. Let's see. What year was Tough 18? 2013. So you're talking 11 years ago, guy.
Oh, right.
You're right on the money. 11 years ago. They've had this rivalry for 11 years.
You know what, though? I think it's because Pennington said it in a press conference before, so I just remembered her saying it. But, yeah, like, that's got to be the longest rivalry ever without them ever fighting.
I mean, yeah, it's like Tony and Khabib, right? Except these guys are actually gonna. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like it seems disparaging, misogynistic, but like Raquel Penning is the most unassuming and undeserving champion. Like, if that makes sense. Like,
no,
I get that the division is bad. She had a split decision against Caitlin Vieira, so I wouldn't mind seeing them fight again. But like, who else would she fight? People are so butthurt. Like, who else is she gonna fight?
And it's like, if Kayla manages to win, and then she manages to beat one of these two ladies and becomes a champion, who's she gonna fight after that? Like Raquel, the only one left. Like, let's just say Pena wins this, and then Kayla's got to fight Pena for the title, and Kayla wins that. Then the only person left for her to fight is Pennington, because she's already beat number 3. She already beat the champ. It's such a dead division, like.
And that's sad because, I mean, 11 years ago or whatever, when you had Rousey, you had Tate, then Holly Holm came. Like,
you know what I'm thinking though? Give it 3 years. Wait for a little PFL contract to run out, and it would be right for Dakota to come in and just be the star, because she's got the looks, she's got the personality. And it'll be similar to Ronda and Nunes, where I don't think it would matter too much of the quality of opponent as long as she just does her thing. So, yeah, give it 3 years. Come in, kick Kayla's head off her shoulders, leave American Top Team, kick Kayla's head off her shoulders, take the championship off her, and then we'll just keep having UFC in Manchester. Her and Tom can rule.
I think, to answer your question in a more realistic way, I think Dumont will probably get the next title shot.
She's good.
After she destroyed Aldana's face.
Yeah, she was good, man.
So I think that'll probably be who's next.
Yeah. But to be fair, I'm talking about Dakota. Like, her next fight's Talia Santos, so I could even be talking too soon. Like, you know, I don't want to.
Talia's a UFC vet.
Exactly.
First ever champion, right?
Yeah, I think so. So, like, I could be saying all this, and she might lose the next one against, like, a UFC vet. But she's young, so she's got that on her side as well.
Right, she's got time to get better and whatnot if worst case scenario. But hopefully she wins, and like I said, your wish comes true.
Yeah, because that could be a good build-up. Like, the fact that her and Kayla are already training together now. Like, and then Dakota, if she does get into the UFC, it'll be like Amanda Nunes all over again with Kayla. Like, one of them will have to move because they're both in the same division, got the same coaches, and then you'll get all them same stories of, oh, she left because I kept beating her in sparring. And,
Yeah, this happened in training and
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a
To be
big.
honest, I don't think Dakota's the type. Like, Dakota was born and raised in a gym, so I don't think she'll be the type.
Like what happens in the gym stays in the gym.
Yeah, but I think she'll respond, though. I think if Kayla starts talking about stories, I think she'll respond, but I don't think Dakota will be the one to start it.
To bring it up.
Yeah.
So, what's your official prediction?
My official prediction is
Absolutely boring.
Dakota beats one of them in 3 years' time. No, I know that was a long segue.
No, you're good, man. It's better to divert than actually talk about the fight.
I'm gonna go. I wanted Pena to win when I thought they were gonna fight in Tough, yeah, and it was purely because in Tough, because I've not watched much of Raquel since. I'm not gonna lie, but in Tough, Raquel always seemed a bit mentally weak, and Pena's whole game is about pressure. So I just can see Pena, unless Pennington's changed a lot since then. I can just see Pena just breaking her. Yeah.
Well, what I will say to that is I can see Pena winning. I'll probably even predict that Pena is going to win. But that's only because her wife, Tisha Pennington, is going to lose to Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
She's going to be upset, obviously. So she's going to carry that into the fight and be emotional.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because she's a woman, but because, your wife just lost. Like, you're going to have emotions about that.
Yeah.
And I just could see her breaking, like you said, and Pena being the winner there.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were fighting on. That's such a weird thing to do. Like, such a strange choice to make. Like, you could literally ruin 2 careers in one night making that choice. Like,
It's weird.
Yeah, it's probably easier for the coaches and all that stuff. Like, I get, like, probably why they've done it, but no, it's like every time. It's a bit different with Izzy, but every time Izzy used to fight, all his city kickboxing guys would fight on his card. Like Dan Hooker, Volk.
Yeah, I mean, they're not related, but it's the same. Same room.
And I used to always think, I used to always want the city kickboxing guys to win, because I used to think, I just want Izzy to have that confidence. You know what I mean? And it's similar to that. It's like, why would you let your wife fight before you, right?
Why take that emotional risk? Now, if she wins, obviously, if she beats Esparza, then she's going to have that confidence boost, and maybe she'll come out and perform really well. I just think there's too much.
Fight of the night bonus as well.
They didn't ruin 2 lives at once; they improved 2 lives at once, right?
I mean, that's very possible. They could both get a performance of the night bonus or whatever. Like, that would be fun, I suppose.
Fun for them,
yeah. And for the tax man. Because like the couple, you better not be a couple officially.
Yep. No, they're married, so yeah, they would. The tax collector would love that check.
He's like, I want a bit of both. This one.
This is the one.
Look at he's the same. Roundtree is the same as Battle. He was like 300 pounds as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Battle, Cannonier, and Roundtree are like this unique bunch of fighters that are like mythical fighters, where it's like they were fat men that had a bit about them, and then they realised, I don't want to be the next fucking Tai Tuivasa. I want skill.
I think that's a running joke. I think every episode we got to mention Tai Tuivasa and fuck Michael Chandler.
Yes, with the Tuivasa one, it's not even like conscious. Like,
no, it just comes out. It's natural.
I'm obsessed with him. But yeah, like I said, I don't think Roundtree has no chance at all. I think for the first 2 rounds he's very live in the fight, but just the speed of Pereira and the fact that Pereira can throw his kicks without without any telegraph at all. Like, even Izzy couldn't read his kicks. Like,
Izzy fought him 3 times.
Yeah, so I think that alone just stands Pereira in such good stead to just beat his legs in the first few rounds and then probably KO him in the third or fourth.
I think I picked KO 2. Just batter him low first round, feel him out, and then because Khalil likes to keep that right hand low, I think left head kick is going to take him out in round 2.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
That's a good one, yeah. Like, I can see that. It's defo coming from the left.
Because,
like,
either that left hook or that left high kick, I think.
Yeah. Watch, it'll probably surprise us and do a flying knee.
Right.
But it better
Spinning
be the left.
back fist or something, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I see it like that. I see it either being 2 ways. I see it either being a really tough fight, like the Izzy fights were with him, where it's back and forth and you just don't know which way it's going to go, or it's just going to look easy. Like, the only 2 ways I can see it going. And I know they're the only 2 ways a fight can go, if that makes sense as well. But what I mean is, I do believe Khalil has enough about him to drag him into a battle, like, if it can go that way.
I don't know. I don't think Khalil has enough high-level experience in MMA his most high-profile win is Anthony Smith. I mean, that's all I'm going to say.
Now I've looked at his record, I am thinking a bit different, because I know he has beat 2 glory champions. That's one thing I know. That Goki one, and there'll be another one somewhere. So, they might not look well known in the MMA side, but I think that does stand him in good stead, that he has beat some kickboxing champions.
I think
Pereira's different level as well.
Like, he got knocked out by this guy, Cutelaba.
Oh, yeah.
He got knocked out by Johnny Walker.
Yeah. Johnny Walker's such a strange...
He lost to whoever the hell this guy is, Oleksiejczuk. So, like, I don't know.
I like that guy. His name started off Ukrainian and ended up Polish.
No, Oleksiejczuk.
Yeah, Oleksiejczuk.
Let's see. He got subbed in round 1 against this guy.
Yeah. Not looking good, is it, to be honest?
That's like I don't understand. It's one of those things where the UFC hypes, and you start falling for it.
Yeah. Well, that is one thing I have noticed. A lot of like your Bispings and your DCs, a lot of them are going for Khalil. So part of me thinks, is Khalil like the one that the company wants to win?
Right. It's something. It's weird.
Because they all did it with, who else did they all do this with recently? Where it was Marab and Sean O'Malley. They all picked Sean O'Malley. And I thought, how did none, not even DC, who's a wrestler, how could he not even look at Marab and go, yeah, actually, I can see Marab beating Sean. You know what I mean? So sometimes I think a lot of them pick what the company would want them to pick.
I definitely agree with you.
Which is a bit...
That's not to say, though. I mean, Roundtree's obviously very well built. Catches Pereira, could put him to sleep. I mean, Izzy put him out.
That's
so
it.
It could happen. I'm not going to rule anything out, but my official prediction will be Pereira KO 2.
Yeah, me too. Same here. KO round 3 or 4, I reckon. I don't think it'll be early, because I think unless there's like a kind of Jamal Hill situation where he can trap his foot and do something like that early, I just don't think he will want to rush in against Roundtree early. So I don't think it'll be an early knockout unless Roundtree like pushes the pace, which will be a bit silly.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough from Roundtree to say he's gonna be one of the best pound for pound fighters and champions we have in the UFC.
Yeah.
Not saying
Isn't
it
it
can't happen,
crazy
but
with Alex? Like, isn't it absolutely crazy? Like, before he fought Strickland, no one would think that would be sat here calling him pound for pound. Like, not like he's in the GOAT. People are even putting him in GOAT status, right? Which I think it's a bit soon. I think he needs to do a little bit more to be in that conversation.
I mean, this will be what, his 4th fight this year or something like that. Like, the dude is a fighting champion and he wins. Like, he's got to be up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to say 13
fights. I've got to say as well, like the kickboxers that come into UFC, you know what? They actually are what we want. Like, they're willing to fight 3-4 times a year. Like, they're willing to, you know, like even when the champions like Izzy was fighting like multiple times a year, like always rolling the dice, like probably always fighting injured, and like so.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish more fighters would have that kickboxing Muay Thai attitude, like that those two have, of like, well, we're fighters, so we're gonna fight, and I might have this little niggle, but he's probably got a little niggle, so we'll see who's gonna roll better.
I think those guys are more willing, like you said, like because they've had that fame and glory before, like they're more willing to fight through it. Whereas the guys that are coming up through MMA, once you get to that top level, is the first time you ever experienced that adoration. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But I also think it's how those sports work as well. Like, sometimes you could have more than one fight in a night in kickboxing or Muay Thai. Like, you know, in tournaments where you could fight 3 times in one night and win the tournament. So I think that plays into it as well. Like, I think, like when I used to fight amateur, I used to fight once a week at one point, where every weekend I'd be looking for a new fight. And like, I think that in kickboxing Muay Thai, they put more emphasis on staying fresh through actually fighting rather than staying fresh through sparring or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, you know, what better experience can you get than actually doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
Like traveling to the gym and all that stuff, like fighting in a different like jurisdiction, like little things like that, you know, where I reckon by the time Izzy and Pereira got to the UFC, it was like a walk in the park for
them. It's something they've done a million times, so.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is a good conclusion to the SydeBoob podcast.
It is.
Anything you want to add before we go? Anything you want to pitch? Anything you want to shout out?
Not much, obviously. Thanks for speaking about the video and that I did. If anyone wants to see it, it's in the chat there. Other than that, I just want to say, look, Michael Chandler.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Peace in a bit.